I mean, it's there, but it's written in very small text in the book. Like, if you need to take leave, it's not, what do I say? Like, people need to be more aware, because I know some people don't read like the fine text of, academia. Like, if you need a break, they just think you have to keep going and overload yourself, but you really don't have to. Like, it's there. It's just not promoted as much.
Right. On that note, again, Smriti is here with us. I'd like to ask the same question to Smriti. So, Smriti, when we talk about the society as a whole, or when we talk about mental health, keeping the society as a whole in mind, there are certain section of people. There are different sections of people. But as mental health organizations, or as someone who would want to take a leap of faith to make sure that the society is getting prepared for the downfalls as well. So, how do you think we can actually penetrate the mindset into different societies? I mean, to all kinds of society.
Hello everyone. To answer that, I think we should start with schools first. I think inculcating such awareness about suicides from very young age can help us in preventing it, and not just suicide. Even if we talk about mental health, because a lot of mental health also leads to suicide. So awareing them about such issues can help in decreasing this problem. And then apart from school, even in institutions, organizations, companies, we should having a session where people can openly talk about this, or awareing them also, because everywhere the pressure is like work pressure and to lead life and get move forward. It is on everybody, which somehow impacts us, our mental health, and can or leads a person to take such steps. So even awareing people here can help in reducing.
Right. So of course, I think inculcating in the places where there's mass following, because when we talk about schools, educational institutions, or corporates, I think those are the hub. Those are hub of mass where people come from different societies, irrespective of their social stature.
Yes, can I add one more?
Yes.
And places where we go for worship. Because a lot of people go there, a lot of people believe in what the priests say, or the person who basically helps there, stays there. Whatever they say, a lot of people believe them. They listen to them. So if such things are being promoted by, also help a lot of people, and can reach to a lot of places also, because priests and all these people are everywhere, at every corner of the country, so they can be very helpful.
Right. I completely agree with this, because I think this is a very new perspective. I think I never have imagined that inculcating these kind of dialogues, healthy dialogues within the places where people go for worship, because I'm sure everyone, we all have a certain idol, or let's say a certain temple, or certain place for us to worship. I think that's a very unique idea, but again, doing it would be a tougher thing. But I guess of course that would be a start to well, great. Anything you would want to add, Pradeep, onto this? We are discussing about the penetration of mental health wellness into different societies.
Mental health education is very important, sir.
Yes, of course.
That has to be started at the school level. And second thing is mental health education should be a curriculum based activity for school children. Curriculum based activity should not be like outside people coming into the education institutions and they are telling about mental health education. It should not be like that.
Right.
In the curriculum itself, mental health education should be there, syllabus should be there, and students should be taught with updated examples,
right,
not like old examples. And it should be taught in a very innovative and creative teaching is necessary.
Right. So Pradeep, here you have also mentioned that we have to take up new techniques, or give examples as of the new technique, because we are growing, right? We are growing, and we right now the problem, if we see, it's just different again, because 10 years back there was no plethora of social media platforms as such. But now we are on to social media, and I guess social media also is a, one of the biggest reasons why people are getting deviated, or sometimes people also start self-harming themselves. There's certain toxicity that happens on social media as well. So I'd love to understand how exactly social media impacts people's health and mind. How exactly social media right now as one of the fastest medium to share information or to get influenced or be influenced, all of that. So could you please tell me how social media is affecting our lives even without us noticing it?
There is a concept called as digital distraction, sir. Digital distraction. So nowadays we are living on an attention economy, where people concentration will bring money for the Facebook, Instagram, Google, these kind of YouTube kind of platforms. So people concentration are getting distracted with these ads, movie programs, and cricket matches programs, and they are getting economy because of diverting the attention of people. So children should have better understanding. First of all, that parents should have better understanding that our children concentration is becoming a money for some X person, Y person, Z person.
Right.
And the second thing is emotional control should be developed from childhood onwards. Emotional control, these social media platforms, they destroy emotional control of children. And emotional control should be built up.
Right.
For that, proper guidance should be given, proper technique should be adopted, proper attitude should be there, the mindset should be there.
Thanks, Pradeep. Farida, you are a mother yourself, right? You are a mother yourself, and I'm sure whatever just Pradeep has spoke, that has, that is something where you can get aligned to. So, you have your daughter. So, how do you take that? I mean, how do you take Pradeep's, conversation here in mind, and how do you think that what do you do basically? How exactly you think that his words can be aligned with yours, and what are the actions that you take in general?
Yes, actually, I agree with Pradeep. So it's like it's a big challenge for parents nowadays to keep their children distracted from social media. So it's something we can't ignore. We need it. There are various reasons, like during pandemic, children were they had to attend online classes, and because of online classes, everything got digitalized. So the students who were never exposed to these kind of things, they got to know. And children being what do I say? They're fast learners. So what happens? If suppose we don't know few things, but they are very quick in searching and learning. So in that process, they have learned a lot, and yeah, it's a big challenge. So I feel we need to keep a certain kind of rule set at home. Like there has to be a certain period of time. Only during that period of time you'll be allowed to use your phone or social media, and even after that, it's actually very difficult. And mental health, especially for the young generation, I feel because there are people who like to show off. Okay, so they will click pictures somewhere and they'll just put up their pictures over there, upload. And others who are not who are suppose confined at home or doing their studies, they'll be like, oh, I'm left alone, so I also need to go and have fun, something like that. So but these things are totally materialistic. So as Pradeep mentioned, so nowadays relationships are also like so yeah, it's a very big challenge. So at my home, I have tried to give my daughter a certain period of time. You can use your phone for this specific period of time, and after that you cannot use it. So but I'm not being successful, I have to be honest, but I'm trying. Yeah.
Right. Deepa, can you add something about the right guidance? The right guidance that a parent can give to their children when problems such as this, you're facing. When problems such as this is faced right now.
Yeah, so as Farida correctly mentioned, that I think it's important to have some ground rules set, right? Because otherwise there is no limit, and it's crazy that I myself spend so much time on social media and on something anything or the other. It could be emails as well, right? Now all our work and everything can be, accessed through phone. So the amount of time I'm spending on phone and screen is, really completely unacceptable. Even I realize that, but it's so hard to get away. So and I think it's important for children to model the behavior first, right? You have to first show them that, this is, so I'm also, doing this. I'm mindful of how much time I'm spending on screen. And even children can, question you if you don't, yourself follow these rules.
Right.
So I think that's very important, modeling the behavior.
Right. Megha, I suppose that you would want to add something. You have very interesting insight. So yeah, what do you think? You being the younger generation by yourself, we have just spoke to Farida. She has spoken aligning her views as a mother herself, and I can understand how you can relate to your children of your mother, of course. So you are to the younger generation. So what do you think? Since you have the hands-on experience of getting involved as the topic that we're discussing. So what do you do, or what is the right thing that you think that generations such as you can follow in terms of this?
Something that was mentioned in the discussion was mindfulness. So being mindful about the kind of content that you search through on social media is very important. There are many people who show their life, as Deepati mentioned earlier, that people going on holidays, people having the best times of their life, people buying new things, people share reviews that this is an awesome product that I'm using and you must use it too. But there are also kind of people on social media who cannot afford those products, or who cannot have the kind of life that those people are living. So it is very important to understand that the portrayal of social media can be misleading and fake a lot of times, and it's important to choose the kind of content that you expose yourself to. So something very important here. For example, when it comes to me, I follow pages that I find are very inspirational, that teach me new things. For example, I follow pages of famous writers, I follow pages of psychologists, and I follow pages that promote about new things that I would want to learn. For example, financial education. So this is how we can choose the content for ourselves and not fall into the trap of social media that wants to mislead us to a direction of life that does not actually exist in reality.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Megha. And I request everyone to please mute yourself when a speaker is talking, because that creates lots of disturbance. All right. So rightly mentioned by you, Megha, and you're told that you follow, or you grab the content from people, or let's say from channels that can actually provide you, or extend something that the education doesn't give you, something like that. More important factors, let's say financial education and stuff. And you have also mentioned that you also find out certain creators, writers who are really good at, and who you can learn from, right? And I'm sure with that said, you definitely should follow me. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Cool. So now we have discussed about the social media. We have discussed social media, and it has different effects. But of course, I am sure that leads to depression, or let's say stress, or let's say anxiety. The fear of missing out is there as well. As Farida has mentioned rightly. So how can we understand that these are the effects, or these are the problems that's going on, but what are the solutions of it? Let's say I am someone who's already kind of anxious, I have a fear of missing out thing, and maybe I am little depressed as well. I think that Ayushi Rawal is cool because she lives in Mauritius, and I'm here in India, or let's say I'm in a place where I can't go or afford to go to Mauritius. So what can someone like me do when I'm already depressed, or have this kind of mindset? How can I cheer myself, or how can you as a mother, as a sister, or someone who likes me, or let's say who are in contact with me, how can your role support me in this kind of behavior that's coming from me? Smriti, would you want to answer this?
Yeah, so I think it is important as a parent or teacher to inculcate in students or children from very young age that comparing life is not something that they should go on. Everybody has their unique life, they have their own challenges. Even if people are living abroad or having a you see on like social media, people have luxurious life, but they have their own stress, they have their own problems that they deal with. So there on such platforms you can see how happy they are, but you don't see their struggles or their the problems they face. And it is very you know, like every person has something, is dealing with something. So what younger generations, like younger students, adolescents, what they do is they see this and they get influenced, and then they, a lot of problems start here only. They get depressed. Oh, they are living a nice life, but they don't see what is going on in the background. So teaching them that, not everyone's life is nice, and you should, you have your own good parts to live. You're living a nice life, and that is very important. I think one should inculcate them these things at very young age, because a lot many times even we go through this and we learn this at a very later age.
Correct.
And we realize ki we shouldn't have done it. We have wasted our so much energy, time into unnecessary things.
Right.
So we can, give this, teach this through our experience also.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, Smriti. So I think rather than, I think the opinions that you have shared are, the rightful things that you have mentioned that has to be done is right. But I believe more than we complaining or more than we thinking that they also have certain problems, why not we just think about ourselves, only focus on ourselves rather than thinking that, their life is good, but maybe they have a problem. So I think that mindset has to change, because we have to completely focus the paradigm shift. There has to be a shift to ourselves, to focus on where are we. I think that is where mindfulness comes in, which Megha has just mentioned as well. I think we should be more inclined about thinking about us, because of course I don't think that is selfishness until and unless you're not harming others, right? So I think it should be more about you. What can you do at the right time, or what can things go on, instead of thinking about others or spending time. I think the bigger problem, I believe the bigger problem is when we start comparing, and then when we start making this comparison subsidized or equating, thinking that they might also have a problem. Like, why would you want to spend your time there? Why would you want to think about someone's problem or goodness, whatever it might be? So instead of that, I think we can actually go on and focusing on ourselves. And I would also want to understand Brandy here, as a mother. Let's say just an example. Just say you're my mother, and I am already depressed. I have this kind of comparison things. I believe that my friends are super cool. I believe that my friends are better looking, because that's one thing that's also a problem. So as a mother, let's say you are a parent of a son of someone like me who has comparison problems, who thinks that people are cooler than me, people are better than me, people are intelligent than me. So how would you, as a parent, or just, you're a psychologist, but as a parent, what a right parent should do in order to make sure that I can be comforted, or I can get engulfed with your warm space of love?
As a parent, I would instill my child to have self-confidence, whether that be implementing affirmations, being grateful, moments of gratitude, and just reflecting back and forth with my child, how was your day? If something went wrong, talk it out and see not so much a solution, but also listening, actively listening to your child can also help, because sometimes they don't need advice, they just want to vent. And as a parent, that's where my role would be to listen and to provide a comfort and a support system to my child.
Right. And how do you understand that your child is withdrawing from you?
Well, if it's a teenager, for sure, when they to themselves or have an attitude or something like that, and you keep asking them, and I wouldn't say nagging, but there's as if I had a child, I would know what makes my child happy, so I would go to that and try to instill a conversation to helping them explain what's going on with them on their side. So yeah.
Thanks, Brandy. Karen, can you hear me? All right. Okay, Ayushi, I just want to understand, since you're relatively young, and could you tell me, has any time or in your life till now, has you ever got influenced by certain aspect of social media, or let's say anything like that. And have you ever got that feeling of, maybe I'm not that good, or maybe I'm little, inferior or something like that? Anything like that ever happen?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And what do you do? I mean, is there something that you have done about it, or yeah?
So my coping mechanisms are very bad. Not gonna lie, I have like very negative coping mechanisms. But that's the thing, because it starts with like negative coping mechanisms. Then I'm like, oh no, I should have done this. So usually it's like I'm someone who gets influenced very easily. Shouldn't be saying this, but yeah, I do get influenced very easily. But for me, it's like, as I grow and as I see people around me, and it's at the end of the day is like you respecting your self-worth and you putting yourself forward, that no matter what, I am an individual on my own. I have my own individuality and I am different. I cannot be what they are, because if I would be, then I'm not happy. Then I'm losing myself, at the end of the day, if I'm trying to be someone else, if I'm trying to copy them just because they are happy. So like, it takes time to understand that for me, but it does come around. I usually do come around and realize that, okay, you know what? You are a different person on your own and you like being like that. It's, for me, at the end of the day, it's my happiness. Like, I usually, reflect back and I'm like, for example, let's say fashion. I am someone who dresses like very tomboyish. So a lot of people do comment on that, like, you're a tomboy, you dress like a tomboy. And when I go back and I'm like, but I'm comfortable, I like dressing like this, I'd rather choose comfort and my happiness rather than going out wearing a dress and just being uncomfortable. Like, okay, what if something's inappropriate? What if something is, not in the right place? So it does take time. For people younger than me, I know it takes a lot of effort for them and a lot of like maturity. Not saying that I'm mature, but it does come with time. And education is very important. We really need to educate our younger generation.
Right.
The one below.
Right. All right. Yeah, as everyone has already mentioned, educational institutions, I think that's one place where we can include this, and that is what Project C Foundation has been doing as well. Many of us, I mean, here there are many people who have joined the Project C Foundation event itself, so I'm sure you already know what we are trying to do in terms of different kind of initiations or initiatives that we have. But that kept in said, we understand now, okay, we have understood. So what all we understood from the event so far, I just try to make this as a mood. The very first thing is we have to make sure that these kind of things, or when it comes to problems like this should be outspoken, and there should be a proper curriculum which the education institution has in itself. And Smriti also added a very important point that maybe just in case if we have these kind of things set by someone who we respect, or where we go to bow our heads and pray or something like that, maybe there it can help us a lot, because the word of mouth is very much high there. I mean, it can easily be spread there. So Smriti also mentioned that, and as Deepa also mentioned that as mothers, I mean, I think we all are getting involved into social media so much that we ourselves are forgetting our tracks. And how can we tell someone not to do something when we are ourselves falling into this trap? So I think it's even our responsibility to make sure that we acknowledge the problems, we try to find the solution and try for ourselves before we pass on the same to our younger generations, because they look up to us as examples for sure. And as Brandy also mentioned, we have to be very clean about what we know. And as parents, I think the very first aspect is try to understand your kids. Be little warm, be little understanding. And as Ayush also mentioned, I think things like that happens. I mean, it's obvious. You might feel sad, you might feel depressed. I mean, you might feel let down. But I think at the end, you should know about yourself. You should be aware of yourself and not leave or forget that individuality. And as Megha mentioned, that you have to be aware of yourself. You have to consume the things that are beneficial for you. And I know that it takes lots of efforts to be done in order to make sure we understand what's important to us and segregate the kind of content that we are taking or inviting ourselves to witness. So I think there are lots of inputs, but again, at the end of the day, it comes to a very, 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 very big question: that why is this leading to self-harm? And if it is leading to self-harm, which is the truth, it is leading to self-harm. What can we do to it? What can we as an organization, or let's say what can we as people who want to put out this question to the public or help the public out there? What can we do when people, or when, let's say, when someone around us is actually self-harming themselves? So what the first thing that we can actually do for that? And for that, I request, there are many people, of course, I request everyone, if at all, who want to speak on this, you can let us know in the chat. But for now, I'll be starting with Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah. Sarah, first things first is, how do you recognize someone? How do you recognize someone? Because it's very hard for us to recognize if someone is going through mental health issues, because the most noted people around the world who have committed suicide, or let's say who have indulged in self-harming themselves, are the ones who never got caught in camera. They were always cheerful, they were happy, but then at the end of the day, when we look up to them, they have done something worse, and sometimes where they can't return as well. So I just want to understand, how do we recognize that around us?
Okay, I don't think that we can recognize it, because like these problems are not like a recipe that you have to like check the symptoms and then you can give like the verdict. I think that this comes in many shapes and it depends on every person. So I think that we should like have open minds and like see that the diagnosis and the treatment is different for every person, and like give a personalized like look for every person to know like you can recognize these problems maybe because they have changes in their behavior, or changes in their routines, or changes in the things that makes them happy, or so you have to know the person to notice that something is going on and to do something about it. So each one of us should like be aware that anyone around us can have these problems and these thoughts and these feelings, and just be aware of anything that can like show that they are going through something, and help each other, like knowing each other.
Right. Thanks for that. We also have Kirti here. Hi, Kirti, sing.
Hi, hello.
Hi. Right. Everyone, please turn on the cameras if possible. Please do that. Right, Kirti. So Kirti, you have mentioned, you have rightfully mentioned in the chat that we have been compared to, or we have been in comparisons, right? So what is how do we stop that? Do you have any kind of thing where we can stop comparison? Because I've asked Sarah that if we can recognize someone who's going through a problem, and as she has mentioned, there's no right recipe, right? We just don't know. We just can't say that this is how you can recognize someone going through mental health issues. Or let's say if that mental health issues has caused because they have been constantly in comparison to their siblings, to their friends. There have been comparisons, right? And as you've mentioned, we have been compared by teachers, by parents as well sometimes. So how do you see this comparison? And if at all the comparison is going on, can it be where it can be compared in a healthy way? Is there a healthy way of comparison? Is there a way where we can be compared and yet it can be healthy?
Being compared to other people, I don't think so. It's healthy in any kind of way.
Right.
We can compare ourselves, from the past self, and we can see to how far we have come.
Right.
Even if not progress is not like this. Seeing the whole picture, okay, we are progressing, one by one, taking a step every day. That's still something.
Right.
Parents and teachers play a major role there.
Right.
Especially teachers, because most of the time the kids are in the school, and the environment is very competitive.
Right.
So teacher should be promoting that kind of environment where there is healthy competition, not like, you know,
Right,
it's
right.
a fight kind of like. Yeah.
Right. So how do we bring this healthy compassion or healthy competition? Let's say, let me reframe that. So healthy competition, because yes, Pradeep, I think you are to say something. But yes, let me finish the question. So what I want to ask is, can a competition be healthy? Because we see athletes, we see competitions. There are SRI competitions, this and that, the elocutions and stuff, and the competitions everywhere. I mean, even in sports, athletes, and how do we bring that spirit in everyone, that everyone is going to give their best, and it's the one, I mean, at the end there's just one winner, but sometimes even this kind of competition also take roles on certain members mind, where they're over exaggerate themselves, and certain problem like that, I mean, over exaggerate themselves, or let's say they get exhausted, or they constantly keep in their mind that they're not good enough or something like that. So how do we bring in a positive competition environment around us?
Competition, comparison for betterment and comparison for worst. There will be two things. Comparison for betterment is where these athletes, sports players, cricket players, football players, they'll improve. For example, when Sachin Tendulkar is not very good and Vinod Kambli is very good, Sachin Tendulkar understood that he has to improve and he worked on his strengths. This is where comparison comes into place.
Right.
So comparison will be two types: comparison for growth and comparison for worst.
Right.
So for competition is very very necessary. Why? Because healthy competition is we can bring healthy competition only by maintaining a friendly environment.
Right.
Friendly environment is very very necessary. Where if the one or two students who are not up to the mark, they will understand that it is only a friendly competition, friendly environment, and we can put our efforts next day. Today is not good means next day will be good. Next day will be good. Future is always bright. With that positive attitude, with that hope, we should go forward.
Right. Very rightfully said. I think this is a really nice thing that you've brought up. Competition for betterment. I think the competition should be with ourselves, and of course, there will be people running in a race. But at the end of the day, it's you. You have to compete yourself. Let's say the way you have performed earlier and the way you're performing now. So competition for betterment. Yeah, I think that's a very good idea that you've got, and it's really interesting to know that. Yes, Megha, you have something to add on to it.
I think when it comes to competition these days, it has become more of putting other people down than being at the top ourselves. So people have a mindset that if I cannot be at the top with my own efforts, I have to put other people down so that I can be above them. So this is something that has to stop. As in, when you are ensuring a healthy competition, you have to ensure that you are using your own abilities and moving ahead in the competition, and not by putting someone else down. And another thing is that there is a sense of hostility that can be seen in competition. For example, if I lost the competition and if you won the competition, I may have a feeling that or some sort of negative emotion towards you, that you put me down, or because you won the competition I lost the limelight or something such. So we have to make people understand that if people are competing in a competitive world, there are high chances that not everybody secures the top. And it is okay to not be at the top always, because it takes time to reach there, and it's not very pleasant at the top all the time. So ensuring that healthy competition is something very important, wherein we can imbibe values of friendliness and reduce hostility that exists in the entire thing.
Right. Ayush, I'll get back to you. I've acknowledged. Yes, Manushi, I'm sure you have something to add on to it.
Can you hear me? Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Hi, Manushi.
Okay. You called in for me. Am I right?
Yes. You are. Yeah.
Okay. Well, firstly, I would like to congratulate Project C for taking up this initiative. I love the ideas put forth by each of you of different age, with different personalities. It's so good to meet everybody in one forum and talking about the most treated word which is in the world right now, that's depression. Well, the sad fact of the world is 1 in 4 youngsters are committing suicide. As we are talking, there is somebody who is trying, or who's already gone. So that's the sad fact what we are all talking about. So something as weighing as the topic is competition, all of these factors what we have written definitely comes into play. But my uh, solution as a psychologist and being in this field for 2 decades right now, I would I'm hoping a day comes when we treat mental health as how we treat physical health. That is, say me and you, if we are feeling unwell, what do we do? Would you just put a tap on the chat box? What do we do if we are feeling unwell? We take, yeah. Let me hear out from all of you on the chat box. Yes, we see a doctor. Thanks, Neha. We take rest for a day or two. We see if we are feeling better, any better. And if we still do not feel better, we go to the doctor. The doctor prescribes medicine. They give us a few tests to undertake to make sure they know what is happening inside the body. So they give us a few supplements. They give us a few incentives in terms of medicines which will make us feel better. Yes? Now let me tell you everybody, it's the same with mental health as well. If you're not feeling too well, all we have to do is take a day or two, give rest to your mind and body, definitely necessary. If again after 2-3 days you're not feeling so well, it's perfectly okay to go and meet somebody who's qualified as a psychologist and talk about what is going on in your head. If you do not know what you're going through, that's perfectly okay as well, because somewhere when you're unwinding, that is also going to be unwinded. And even still, if this psychologist is not able to help you, there is absolutely no issue. All that they are going to do is give you a few tests, like how we do with our physical health, and they would prescribe a few tests for us to take, just like PT or an MRI, like how we do it with our physical health for a fracture. So then what happens is, this is where the psychiatrist comes into play. So the psychiatrist looks at your reports, your tests, and suggests a few chemicals which is going to do good to your body, which is going to supplement your nervous system, your neocortex, your entire mental being, your hormones, your happy hormones. They are going to intensify this happy hormone, the set of 5 hormones what we have, that is dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphin. Now these are the basic hormones what all of us need for everyday peaceful or a calm lifestyle. So take those supplements and feel at ease, because it is okay to be not okay, truly. It is definitely okay to not be okay. Even we, as being in the profession, we do not feel at our best all the time. I'm sure Pradeep is going to agree with me, Brandy is going to agree with me, Ayushi, Megha, all of you, yes. Now, we do not feel at our best all the time. We are going to have our own lows, we are going to have our ups, but what matters is we keep going. We keep running our race, and that's what life is about. Just keep going. Do not worry about you're in the best, or how far you are, or how behind you are in terms of competition, coming back to the question. So let's not worry about who is with us. If we have to compare, let's compare ourselves with what we were yesterday. I think that's exactly what we need to compare.
Thanks, Manjushri. I think that is the point we are missing. We are just making mental health issue an alienated subject, where we are forgetting that there are prescriptions, there are professionals, there are certain aspects of things that has to be done when you are in certain kind of mental stage, or if you're suffering with something. I think That is why I think the problem is people are not trying to get diagnosed by something like this because they feel that mere talking would be enough. Of course, there are certain tips and techniques that one can use where he or she can help themselves to self-improve. But if at all that's not working, I think the very first thing that we have to do as an organization ourselves is to promote this, promote the profession itself, because this profession itself is something where people don't think about, or people just neglect it. I think that is where the problem comes in. I think as easier as you rush to a hospital when you get a small fracture, it should be the same with the mind as well, with the brain as well, because there are hormones and adrenaline. I think that is the fifth one that you forgot. So yeah, adrenaline. I think these are the 5 different hormones that you have mentioned. Endorphins and all of that. So I think,
yeah, we call it cortisol.
Yeah. So,
Cortisol. Yeah.
right. So you have to make sure that it's all in place, and if it's all there's a chemical imbalance, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and of course I'm not quite sure what about hormones, but yeah, since you're all the psychology, I think that is what we have to promote by ourselves, that there are psychologists, there are counselors, there are people who can help you out with if you have certain kind of problems. Thank you, Manju. Thanks a lot for sharing that. And we have Manushi Shaha. Manushi, can you hear me? Manushi, I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Yeah. Yes. So I'm really sorry, Manushi. I was quite occupied with the speaker, so I couldn't see your name. Yes, Manushi. You wanted to share your
I'm going to share my personal experience. Will it be okay if I'm audible to you?
Please.
Yeah. So first of all, when I've been through a situation where there are mental trauma issues. As you know that the psychology is the kind of rarest thing now in the world. Like people need help to say something, because nowadays in the world, if you see something about psychology, about mental health issues, then it is a kind of a thing where people feel shame. Like I've been through it, so I know that how do you need the help. You don't need something, you need some person in your life to understand, to make yourself comfortable when you want to share something. It's just not only in the school or in the college or at any kind of a place. It is just your mental health issue is quite a big thing. It can affect your health and everything. I have been through psychological courses and all these things. So I have been read it that how the medications are being there. It's just not only about the thing where you cannot share. You can get many help today as well. Like about hearing on the psychiatrist or psychologist, you can get help and you can get a lot of medications to relax your mind at the time. But also you need people around you where you can share something. It's not just only medications will help for only some period of time.
Right.
Like for having some medicines, your mind get cooled and calm. But for the time being, you need a people where you can hear out. I know a psychiatrist, he is a doctor and he is giving his theory. Either he is also a dermatologist, but he is also helping people by making them problems resolve. He is a psychiatrist also by nature. So I know that to share these things can make your life easier.
Right.
Because mental health issue is right now, we know in the Bollywood film industry, we would like to share. I know many people would have been fans of Deepika Padukone. Like she is also went through a mental health issue, and she is also speaking on that some people feel shame that mental health is what? क्या है? होता रहता है, ये सब तो बकवास है. But अभी की दुनिया में ये सब चीज बहुत नॉर्मल है. इसे हम ट्रीट भी कर सकते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम अपनी बात शेयर करेंगे तो जिन लोगों को भी ये होगा तो उन लोगों में भी हिम्मत आएगी कुछ बोलने के लिए. I've been through a course from Coursera or WHO. You all must be knowing that these all people promoted so very well that anyone would get help from the app also. Like Google applications or anything where you search, you can get a lot of help. I know many of my friends are doing counseling also.
Right.
Like they are not going in the medical field, because I am also in the medical field, so I know that how psychology is a very crucial role in our life. So I was trying to say on this that you should not be afraid. Or I think that thank you for giving me this opportunity, sir, that I could speak on. Even I can share this in my friends or anyone who has been going in any kind of mental health issue, because it can help to speak them on this kind of platforms, I think. So thank you very much once again for having.
No, definitely, Manushi. The whole reason of having events or healthy dialogues on this topic is to make sure we are creating the awareness, not only pertaining to one or two issues of mental health, but all the issues. But today, since it's September, we are definitely talking about suicide prevention awareness, and that is the whole motive of this. I think you have rightly told. I mean, of course, we have people. I mean, the main important aspect is to have people around us who can understand us and further guide us through our healing
Yeah.
process. Like making
Because
sure
medication can help
right,
it only a time. It
right,
can't
right,
help you throughout the life, I think.
right,
I've
right,
been in medical, so like you think that okay, डॉक्टर ने दे दिया, हमने ले ली, फिर हो गया solve. इससे नहीं होगा. Because when a person is in the mental issue, you know that the consumption of having alcohol or drugs is much. I've seen many people who are facing depression. They try to kill themselves. They think that why we are like this. But I think that this is not a solution. You can take a counselor's help. You can take some sessions or something. You can indulge yourself in medication, yoga, or exercise. By doing this, your mind can also get calm. You can also attend many kind of therapeutic sessions, or you can like foundations, like our platform. You can speak and you can share. So many people can help you out.
right, right.
So it would be very much easier, right?
Right, Manushi. And I really love the fact that you have mentioned our foundation. You have mentioned our foundation, and that's like your
Yeah, I think that this is not only just I'm working over here as an intern. I think this is our thing. It's not only Project C Foundation. I think that it is like a family to us.
Right.
So when we can share our problems, it's a family and friends. Yeah.
Perfect, great insight, and I'm sure the founder of this organization will love it. He will definitely love this fact. Thanks a lot. Right. So moving on, I just want to question yeah. So moving on, Manushi, I just wanted to understand. You have mentioned that you yourself were in such kind of situation or a phase that you had to take up certain help. So how did you approach? What was the whole process? Because I'd love to understand that as well. Because right now the aspect, I mean, the problem is people know that they're facing certain issues, but they're reluctant or they're hesitant or they do not actually know the way or the right process or how exactly. So I'd be understanding the right process to approach a psychologist or a psychiatrist. So I would start it from your story by yourself. Let me know how did you understand the problem, and then how did you start taking the right way, the right path, since you have mentioned that you have gone for counseling as well. So please explain me that, and then maybe I'll ask the psychologist to let us know as well.
Yeah,
What's the right
thank
path.
you for making me share this, because I have been in a mental trauma. Like till 14 years of my age, I have been facing through the height issues. Like it was a mental trauma in school. Like people used to pass comments and everything. I've been in the psychological trauma. I used to cry and everything. So I've been through that process. After 14 years of age, in the medical science, it has been developed a technique known as Ilizaro technique. I don't know. Many people don't know in India. It's not well established. But in outer countries, there is much well established. You can search it on Google. You can get to know many results. I've been through the surgery process. And now, the main fact, even my friends, when I've been through the surgeries, there are a lot of pains and everything. But I thought that I want to get rid of this mental trauma. Why people judge on my looks, or why people see outer appearance? Like they judge that this girl can't perform because she's lower in height. It's a kind of a mental trauma. Why I've been judged on my outer appearance? I should be judged on my capabilities, that I can do something. It's just not only to judge on the outer appearance that this cannot do. Right? So I know after that, when my surgery went, my height got increased, and now the people see me in another way. Like they want to be my friends and everything. I think that how the things were and how now the things are. So the daily trauma I've been through 14 years, so I know that. that how it is painful. It is not only you try to, even I have tried to think that why am I only chosen for this kind of a thing? You you question yourself, right? That why am I being blamed for this? Why people is looking me at like this, and why people are passing comments on me and all this thing. This is the kind of mental trauma. At the time, you don't think, but it hits your mind. It's just not it. It hits your mind in the cerebrum itself. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been through this process, and I've been in a contact with a psychologist. He's like a best friend to me, and he also treats patient on this. Yeah, so I've been through the courses, and I know that how it helps in your life. Because personally, I've been through this trauma. I can know that how the people would feel. Even if someone talks to me, then I can help them out because I know I've passed through this situation, and now all the scenario has been changed in today's world. Yeah.
Thank you, Manushi. Thanks a lot. All right. Again, I'd want everyone. I mean, whoever have, we'll go to a segment where we'll be talking about different experiences here now. So anyone who have had any kind of experiences and the way you have coped up, if anyone can share this story, then we'll be glad to hear them out as well. You can drop your name in the chat so that we can give you a certain time and you can let us know about your story as well and how you coped up. Cool. So meanwhile, people, please figure out, write your names. Till then, I have certain couple of questions to the members here. I'll be posting it, and I wish you all to shed your lights on those questions as well. So I'd want to ask about how can one help themselves. How can, let's say, I know that I'm feeling something wrong and there's something going on wrong. So how do I help themselves? What's the right way to, for me to help myself? So anyone who would want to shed lights can. And before, yes, thanks Ayushi, and I'm sorry that you also have raised your hand. So yeah, let me know how do I help myself.
So I answer this question, or should I say what I wanted to say?
No, first this. Anything, if you want to answer this, then you can. If not, you can.
Yeah, I'll answer. Personally, what I do is I usually journal a lot, and for me, it's like when I journal, I cry. So crying is my coping mechanism. So while journaling, I cry, and it's like a way of letting out what's bothering me. It's a way of expressing myself, and then I'm good. So it usually helps me get things off my mind. It's, for me, it's like a healthy coping mechanism because I'm able to express myself in a way that I'm comfortable with. Also, what helps me is yoga and meditation. It helps me a lot. Just stretching my body, because when I was having certain issues, I was going through a time where I was stressed. I didn't know what was happening to me. I didn't know why I was always moody. And then I started having chronic pain. The stress became somatic pain. And then I used to have pain in my neck, in my back. Like my body used to always just ache so much due to chronic pain. And then I was suggested to do yoga. So after that, it helped me so much that now it's become like a routine that if I don't do that, then I'm not happy. Like something is wrong that day. It's a bad day to catch me.
Right.
So journaling and yoga really helps me.
Right. Thanks a lot. Yes. So we have Shweta here. Hi, Shweta. Shweta Mittal. Okay, she can't hear us. We have Shruti Fona. Hello. Hi, Shruti. Shruti, I just wanted to know if at all, I mean, how do you help yourself if you find yourself in a place where you're feeling low? Let's say you're feeling low. So how do you cope with that? And what are your mechanisms?
Yeah, so personally, I am addicted to reading books. So I have a lot of motivation books that are around me. So whenever I'm low, I grab a book and I'll just read some few lines. Otherwise, if I like the lines in the book, I highlight them. So whenever I feel low, I go through it, and I agree with Manish that meditation is the one that really helps us to get out of it. And I listen to some songs. There are specific playlists which actually brings you out, which turns out your mood. From feeling low, you can actually turn out to having a great day. Music can actually help. So that those are my two most points where I can leave with my memory.
Thank you, Shruti. Sandra, hello.
Hi.
Hi, Sandra. Sandra, yeah, what are your I mean, let's say you're feeling low. What do you do basically when you're feeling
Well, it depends on whatever is making me feel
low?
low.
Sandra, I can see a wall. If the camera angle can be changed because.
Yes, I can't show my face now because
Okay. All right.
well,
No
I can't
worries.
show my face now,
All
but
right.
you
No
can
worries.
hear.
Yeah. Sure. Please go on.
Okay, so it depends on whatever is making me feel low.
Uh-huh.
Different situations require different mechanisms, but how I approach such situations includes reading, anything that inspires me to live on, listening to music, taking walks, and then spending time with loved ones.
Right.
And actually assessing the situation once I'm calm.
All right. We have G. Hi, G, Alex. Thanks, Sandra. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Hi, Alex. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh, I expected you to be a guy. Okay. Very confusing names.
Oh, sorry.
All
It's Alex is the son name, so that's
okay.
why.
Hi, G. Yeah, G. So, what do you do when you feel low? What do you do?
Okay. Personally, I exercise, and I usually recommend this to people.
Right.
Because factually, exercise has been found to be a very useful tool in dealing with depression. For example, we know that chemicals like endorphins and serotonin that help in improving the mood are released when we exercise. It doesn't have to be a strenuous exercise. It could just be taking a walk. Sometimes you just want to leave that atmosphere, that place where you are, that's making you feel down or feeling stressed. Take a break, go out and take a walk, get some air, and it helps you also get into the world, see people, meet people around you, and just escape from that loneliness, even for a bit. It really does work. So for me, that's one mechanism that I use. It's really helpful.
Right. So G has again. This is for the psychologists here. G has mentioned that you'll have to sometimes just try to escape from that point of from that part or something like that. You have to escape. But I think escape is not the right solution, because when you have a problem, just by escaping from the problem doesn't mean the solution is set. So I'd like to understand, because there are several escaping mechanisms. People get addicted sometimes to drugs as well. This is another whole lot of problems. People get addicted to different kind of things, and which is really harmful. So I'd also want to talk about addiction now, since G has mentioned about it. So how do we come out of this addiction? How do we come out of this? Let's say alcohol, let's say drug, or different kind of addictions that goes on, or the abuse, substance abuse that happens nowadays, which is common, to be honest. So so I want to ask the psychologists that we have today to talk about this as well. How do we take care of the escaping mechanism of people and them getting addicted to different kind of harmful things? So Brandy, what do you think about this? What exactly can be done here?
I think it's first important to understand when you have the urge to do whatever you're addicted to. What feeling are you experiencing during that time, and understanding why you want to do it, instead of it's a numbing, so you're numbing yourself. So it's very crucial when you decide, you say you want to smoke or drink alcohol, what emotions are you feeling before you do it? And that self-awareness was going to help you understand, like, do I really need this? Or maybe I should develop more healthier coping mechanisms. So yeah.
Manjushri, you would want to add something?
Yes. I basically feel we as human beings, we are 100% the way we are made, the way we fully are. But when this 100% gets diverted, say we are broken at some point because of a life situation or because of a thing or someone, we break. So when this 100% breaks, sometimes we find this other, the missing puzzle in a thing or in somebody. So instead of finding it in us, which is also relatively practical because somebody who's broken already will not be able to figure out what is the right thing to do or take the best logical decision. They become really vulnerable to all forces around and they just want to feel full at that moment. So I believe, just like adding on to what Danny said, that's the time when you look into why. Why am I feeling this? Is it because I want to be fulfilled, or is this thing actually helping me or breaking me even more?
Thanks, Manjushri.
So
Right.
I believe human connection is what is the best remedy for addiction. You just have to connect with people, connect with your own self, connect with your family and friends instead of relying on an external source or a substance for your survival.
Thank you, Manju. And the same question, Deepa, question I want to ask you. I want answer more of how exactly on medical terms, or let's say on psychological terms, what can be done when someone is addicted to certain aspects of different kind of substance or different kind of addictions.
Right. So, as Manju also mentioned, I think it's important, and as Gandhi, I think also mentioned that it's important to kind of notice what is making you, have that urge and why are you basically dependent on a particular substance. So I know that a lot of people do not go, or basically I know some teenagers go towards drugs or alcohol as a way to connect with people. They want to gel with their own peers, right? They want to fit in, and that's the reason they go towards a particular substance, and it just, it just becomes a habit for them. So it is not necessary that somebody is, taking help of a substance because they want to get away from pain. It could be for so many other reasons like this one. So I think it's important to know the driver and is it really healthy for them in the long term, and it's important to realize how it's kind of affecting their daily functioning, right? It doesn't have a negative impact at all. And I know that there are some approaches, in the US, I did my kind of volunteering with one of the teachers there. And I know that one of the approaches there is, if any patient is heavily dependent on a particular drug or any substance, they do not take it away instantly, right, from them. They just reduce it in a phased manner. And they make them realize and they give them time, right, to get away from it slowly. So I think it's important to let that individual decide, right, and make a decision or take a step which is more sustainable instead of just guiding them, as to what you think is best for them.
Right. So again, thanks a lot again, everyone, that you have mentioned this. But then I'd be again going back to the format where I'd be open to people who can share their stories. So we have Aditya Sharma. Hi, Aditya. Moving on, Aishwarya, can you hear me? Alina. Hi, Anjali. You have something to say?
Oh, no. I was just saying the one
Oh.
she mentioned, like how people not to miss out something. I mean, I also have gone through that phase. Like, I can't drink, or neither I can smoke due to some allergies or anything. So, I had a group of friends. They are not addicted to that, but they do that sometimes. So I was in fear, like, will I miss something out? Will something happen? People used to say you should try it out. But
I came out myself, no, I can enjoy that thing without like even having to take that the alcohol or the smoking thing. And plus, I want to add on the question earlier you said, like how we can, like, what are the things we can do to come out of the situation. So my father and I, whenever we are together, like to release our stress or something like that, we watch a comedy show together. So we laugh a lot by watching that, and it's quite helpful. Our mood change instantly.
Thanks, Anjali. Thanks for sharing that. And I also love to understand what else others do. When they are, yeah, Pradeep, you were saying something. Yes.
Nowadays, gaming addiction is becoming more problem in school students and college students. Gaming addiction. So, how many children they are ready to listen to their grandparents? In how many houses there are really grandparents, grandmother, grandfather who can tell them, who can make them laugh, who can make them love. So previously, in our homes we have uncles, aunties, grandmothers, grandfathers who can encourage us, build hope in us, who can pat on our back. Nowadays it is not there. So children are getting addicted to mobile phones from the earlier ages, and they are playing games. For example, Blue Whale game. 3-4 years back, there is a game called as Blue Whale game, which created a lot of problem in many parts of the world.
Correct. People started, self-harming themselves, right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. I think as responsible people, I think we should create that healthy. We should give it a try. Keep ourselves coming up with different kind of solutions for this, because problems are many. Honestly, we can't figure out one right solution. I think someone has already mentioned that there's no right recipe to figuring out. It just comes, and I think being vocal, understanding, being self-aware, the different aspects of the panel and people, the audience have mentioned before as well. I think being aware, understanding what's right, what's not wrong, all of that. I think that comes with, again, a lot of tips and techniques that have been shared. Maybe journaling can help. As Anjali has mentioned, she also mentioned that she knows what's good for her, what's not good for her, and she can enjoy herself or her time with her friends, even not doing the things that she doesn't want to. I think that is where we can draw the line, having ourselves, drawing that boundaries within ourselves. I think all of that is really important, and pinpointing a certain aspect of problem I don't think is the right one, because problems can just come from anywhere. And honestly, many people whose problems is unheard of even now. And if you listen, even in your own in your own professions, I'm sure when a psychologist listen to different people, they all come up with different problems again. So I don't think there's just one problem to the solution we're looking after. But I think the right solution would come only when collectively we are open to discuss about it, have a healthy environment where people can discuss, be vocal about it. And I think that is what Project C Foundation is doing, or the other organizations as well. With all due respects, I think all the organizations, all the institutes, all the startups that have been working in the area of mental health, I think all of them, they're doing that because they understand the value of life. They understand how a simple, a simple step gone wrong can actually create something where there can be no coming back. So I think that is what we ought to be trying to do, and let's see how we can do ourselves. But again, that comes back to our main question: why even now, despite having all these organizations, all these things? I think that would be the question I'd be pondering upon. I ponder upon after the event, because there are many organizations, honestly, but still the suicide rates are being increased. And I really cannot understand the correlation of it. Is it social media? Is it addiction? Is it the culture of? Is it the pop culture, or a certain kind of toxic culture that's going on around us? Why is it? Why is it back then, when there were very fewer organizations or no organizations, the suicide rates were a little lower? But now, why has been, even after these many inventions or different kind of technologies that comes to place, you can sit at home and take counseling, even there are lots of helplines, etc. Then why is this suicide rates increasing? Again, I think we should be doing again a thorough research on this, because I'm not quite convinced about the answers that I've received earlier as well, that is, despite having these many organizations, despite having these many things or these many initiatives, why are the suicide rates increasing in today's world? Yes, Manju, you have something to say. Yes.
Well, the one line or answer what I could think of when you were saying the entire problem what we are all facing together is mental health to the world has become a business. Like Onida used to be, they used to call that caption saying, neighbors envy, owners pride. But somewhere we have lost that, materialistic approach towards material things, and we have started, penalizing the whole mental health issue by making you feel less. I'm able to sell you a product. I do not hesitate to do so. The fairness creep to start with, and even there are so many things. Even an album which comes up, they try to get themselves a fraction of audience because they make you feel worthy. What at sometimes you may not be feeling. So somewhere when you're associated with that brand, when you wear a branded Burberry shirt, you feel noticed. When if not, you are it. So you start associating your self-worth with some object, a brand, or even a cream. You feel you look pretty only if you use that cream. So what is that? That's also an addiction. So I believe we should stop this business on the whole, and we start treating humans as humans and respect each other, not for the worthiness you carry, but just because you're human. You do not need anything else. Just be human.
I want to add something. Can I?
Yes, Farida. Yes, please.
Yeah. So I have been listening to everyone, and I feel as a parent of a teenager, I just feel we need the human connection. All right. So if mother-daughter connection is not proper, if the human connections are not proper, if me as a mother or as a daughter, if I am not maintaining a proper relation with my parents or my family members, because family is the one who's going to be with us whatever we are, right? So we need to have a proper balance, proper good relation. I think that matters most. Yeah, that is what I wanted to add.
Thanks for it. Of course, I think human connection, understanding each other, being vocal, talking to each other, at least to the loved ones or your family members, I think that is really important. That has to be done. And we have this important conversation going on in the chat where Daniels have mentioned that it's important that there is prevention apart from providing solutions to mental health. She has also mentioned that a suicidal person is most likely to eventually kill themselves even after therapy or seeing after a psychologist. So Daniels, I think this is where the family touch or the human touch comes in place, because therapy can take you so far. It really can't take you to an extreme condition where you are completely well. But it's all about you, how you are dealing with your own self as well, even after taking therapy. I think that is where, as Farida mentioned, that is where human touch comes in place. As Manju mentioned, that is where the whole aspect of we are human beings and we are different comes in place, and the whole aspect of being self-aware of ourselves, which is mentioned by Megha, also comes in place. And apart from that, also Pradeep has mentioned, instead of getting distracted from the things that not likely benefit for us, instead of that, you can have your own grandparents or family, someone like that who can pat on your back, tell them that it's okay to have mistakes or it's okay to fail, but it's not okay to be stuck. I think that is where the mantra of Project C Foundation also comes, which was given by Harini Raj, one of my best friends, who has mentioned that you can't be stuck. You just can't be stuck. You are here to do many great things. So I think that is a mantra we are, because when such problems like this comes in place, we get stuck, we get inside our cocoon, and we might get suicidal at times as well. And I think that is where people like Farida, people like Manju, people like Pradeep, people like Megha, people like everyone, all of you who are present here, Sarah, Jason, Ayushi, everyone, I think that is where you all come into the play, where you can talk to your loved ones, understand them, and understand that we are all human beings and have that particular touch of human nature. And yeah, I think that is there, and I think that also has to infuriate or at least bring in self-love. I think that is when self-love also comes in place. So accepting yourself, understanding yourself, therapy can do a great work, but if at the end you're not accepting yourself, I think there's nothing anyone can do. I think you have to accept, take it slow. It's okay to fail, it's okay to be not okay, as mentioned by Manju, but at the end of the day you have to start loving yourself. I think that is the only way out of this. Apart from that, organizations are already there. I think there are many organizations who who are completely and constantly working in order to act upon these issues and bring in certain changes in this as well. And I hope there will be times where we can all be open and have healthy communication within our own family, within our own members, and understand what's going on in each other's life rather than just being on social media or thinking that someone else is having a better life than us, instead of focusing on our own selves. I think that will be a day. Let's just hope for that. And apart from that, we also have Hamzat, Elizabeth, who have also mentioned one of the way I think we can solve this is by being conscious of our own thoughts. Right. So as I've mentioned, being conscious about yourself, being self-aware of yourself, I think that will also help. And we have right. So Daniels, are you convinced, or is there something that you can add upon so that we can discuss it on further?
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Can
Hi.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Daniels. Yeah.
Okay. There used to be a family friend that I have. She's older. She got married. She had issues in her marriage, and she was suicidal. She wasn't able to have children because she had fibroid issues, and husband too wasn't helping. He wanted out so badly and all that. So despite the fact that she would talk to her, she went for therapy, saw a psychologist. There was a day I and my mom, I told my mom we should visit her. And on getting there, we saw she almost wanted to kill herself. She had drugs she wanted to use to kill herself and just die at the spot. And we saw it at the edge of the sofa with a glass cup of water. I felt so if we hadn't walked in, she would have killed herself. Well, she eventually killed herself. She hanged herself on the ventilator, on the fan, on the ceiling. She eventually killed herself despite everything. We were there for her. We talked. We told her how she can adopt a child.
Right.
But at the end of the day, she killed herself. She was talking to people. So I'm now after the fact that there were people around she was talking to, we were always going to see her. She went for therapy. She still killed herself. And I'm it's inspired what I wrote on the book. Despite the fact that she went for therapy, what could be the problem?
Right. So I request the psychologist to please address this, because I think this is very sensitive again. So what can we do in such situations, psychologist? Anyone? Smriti?
See, a lot many times, suicide never. It's it is at times accompanied with the mental illness also. So you have to look after that also. Meet a psychiatrist also, so that interventions can be done. Okay, if you need medicines, that can be also provided, plus therapy. Also, at times, family support is needed. So counseling of family is also very important, because as a psychologist, I am doing whatever is needed on the front. But when that person goes back, so the support is there in the counseling, but when they go back, the place where they live or the people they live with, when they don't see support, that problem will not, it will not eradicate. It will still be there. And that is when complete, they don't heal completely. I've seen a lot of clients, I'll say, where they're getting support from the counselors, they feel good when they come for therapy. But when they go home, it's like even the family members are like, oh, it's been going on from so long. This is just drama and all. That is where it hits very badly, and that is where the patient, the problem is that it keeps on increasing. Yeah, so that is needed.
Right. Daniels, first of all, I convey my deepest regrets that it has happened to one of your friends, and it's very horrifying, and it's really disturbing as well to see people, talking and being okay, and then for the very next moment, they're just gone. I think that is really upsetting. But I think the whole reason of going through such things is hopelessness, as Ayushi is mentioned, and also the name of this event, defeating hopelessness. So suicide happens when there's no hope at all. When that's like when you don't understand what to do, what not to do, and you just think that maybe killing themselves is the only answer to end the problems that they're facing. So I think hopelessness is the only reason why the things have happened that have happened to your friend. But I think creating hope is really important, and creating hope and defeating hopelessness as well. And defeating hopelessness, that will come only when we can be more vocal, try to understand ourselves, and have that zeal within ourselves. Honestly, no external can help you a lot, but when it comes to you again, it's up to you whether you take that information, or whether you understand others as well, whether you're empathetic to your own life, because you have to understand that it's not just your life that you're taking. There's a sister waiting, there's a mother, there's a parent. There are all of your loved ones waiting for you to rise again. So I think that is where you have to shine upon. And I think Elizabeth here, she would want to convey certain points here. I can see her in the chat. Elizabeth, would you please add on?
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so I just have a few points to add. We don't just feel depressed just because we want to feel depressed. There must have been some thoughts. Okay, let's say for instance now, somebody broke up with me. So before I can start feeling unloved, I would have to process that situation and be like, oh my God, did he break up with me because I'm not beautiful? Did he break up with me because I'm ugly? Did he break up with me because I'm senseless? So it is all those. You don't just wake up and say you want to become depressed. You don't just wake up and say you want to become hopeless. Something must have triggered it, and one of the things that triggers it is our thoughts. That's why we need to be so conscious of the way we think. We need to be so conscious. We need to start having different perception about situations. So, and then somebody earlier Karam did a study concerning this. So I'm just going to share that study. I'm going to share with us in a few seconds. So it's about expectation, having expectation to live, having expectation of healing. So there were two case study. They wanted to do thoracic surgery. So they divided them into two groups, and then one group, because they gave them morphine. Initially they gave them anesthesia. So we didn't want the anesthesia wore off, and so they had to give them morphine. So some group of people, they made sure that they knew that a doctor was beside them to give them that morphine to heal them of their stress. Whereas some other people, they didn't tell them that a morphine is introduced into their body system. So for the ones that a doctor was beside them to give them that morphine, they had the expectation that the doctor, somebody that knows what he's doing, is about to administer something into their body system. What they did was that they were trying to restructure their mindset, their mind, that okay, something is about to happen to you. I know you are going through something, but I'm about to give you something that will heal that will lower your stress level, that will lower the way you're feeling. Right. So those people had expectation of that healing, because they knew somebody was there right by their side.
Right.
So when they concluded the study, they realized that the people that knew that a doctor was beside them administering that morphine, they recorded that they felt better. Whereas those people that didn't know that a doctor, that they were giving morphine, they didn't know that something happened to them. They didn't know that something changed to them. They didn't know that something changed about the way they are feeling. But because those people had expectation to live, they knew something was coming to them. So it helped them to have that great expectation to live. And that will bring me to the last point of connecting to a greater source. Okay, I can say that those people that submitted to the doctor knew that this doctor knew better than they do. This doctor had something to give them that they cannot give to themselves. So, and that's the source. You can wish to call it God, you can wish to call it Jesus, Allah, Buddha, whatever it is. But you need to know that you can't live this life on your own. You need to submit to a higher authority, because you just met yourself there. It's not as if you have a blueprint on how to live your life out. That means there's a greater source connecting, directing your life, and until you learn how to submit to it, you keep meeting yourself at the same point of hopelessness. Because the truth is, we'll always encounter, even the greatest psychologists encounter things that are bigger than her, that are bigger than him.
So I think
that's the little point I have to make.
Thanks a lot. So what Elizabeth meant is very simple. She wants to convey that you should have that zeal to live. You have to live. I mean, you should keep in mind that these are the problems that's very minute, and you just have to have and make yourself comfortable with the mindset that you want to live, you want to stay, and you want to face the problems. I think that is where, and it takes courage. I think that is where courage comes in, to make sure that you want to live, to make sure you're going to fight the problems that you're facing right now. And we see Megha wanting to share something. Yes, Megha, please add on.
I think from the conversation that we have been having all this while, one thing that is very important is our thoughts.
Correct.
So our thoughts mold us in ways that build our future. So it is very important that we interrupt the cycle of negative thoughts that we are having in order to not fall into that bog of hopelessness. So 2 questions that we can address while we realize that we are having negative thoughts is that, one, is it fact, and second, is it helpful? So even if it is a fact, is it helpful that I am thinking of it negatively? If not, then I don't have to think about it. And the first question that we address, is it a fact? If it's not a fact, I don't have to think about it in the first place. So these constant interruptions can also help us in a very major way and create changes that might lead us to a better life.
Right. And thanks, Megha. Thanks a lot. And we also have Ayushi who wants to share about the necessity of creating an empathetic environment. Yes, Ayushi, you can let us know about
it. I just wanted to share that from the previous conversations, what I personally feel that I have gathered is that as a child, we look, who is our first source? It's our parents. And when parents behave in a certain competitive way, pressure, expectations, and they live up according to the society, that molds us, and we grow to be like that. And then now at this age, we seek for validation. We look at ourselves through the eyes of the society, and if we do not fit in the quotes normal version of what the society is, then we don't like it. Then we feel like, okay, something is wrong with me, this is not right. But who makes this normal? Who said this is normal? Everything is normal, you see. So I think this society, there are very different factors. Parents, I personally feel that parents play the biggest role to mold us, because who is our first role model? Parents. We behave, we learn what they teach us, how they behave. Like previously we were talking about the phone addiction and everything. If parents use their phone, obviously the children want to use the phone. Similarly, when parents behave in such if parents do not speak up about their problems, if they do not share their problems, we also feel like, okay, we can't no, this is not normal. This is not supposed to be something that we should share, and we just suppress it. And then parents also don't come talk to us because even for them it's like a shame and stuff. And at the end, the person doesn't have an option. They don't feel loved. They don't feel like valued. They feel this worthlessness, that if their own parent cannot, reach out to them, if they cannot acknowledge what they are feeling, then why should they be even here? So all these factors build up. There's a build up, years of build up, and I think.
Right. Thanks, Ayushi. Thanks for sharing that. We have Paula here. Hello, Paula. Can you hear me? Hi, Paula. Paula, I'm sure you have heard Ayushi. How do you align with her? Hello. Okay. There must be a problem. Okay. Yeah. Vinay, you want to say something?
Yeah. Okay. I actually heard what Aishi said and Amzat. They actually made a really beautiful point. The hopelessness, I feel, before talking about the hopelessness, what actually brings hopelessness in the first place? And from my own perspective, I feel it is just expectations being cut off. At some point in time, before we embark on anything in life, we have a particular expectation. We have a result we have drawn for ourselves, to get, or to like a aim to get to as a result of something. So in many situations in life, things do not really go the way people want it to go, and they feel like they can actually settle for less in such situations, decisions, suicide and all. It's just the reality. We need to help people to understand that it's not everything. Things do not necessarily have to go your way. There's some times whereby you get disappointed, or life brings it kicks death to you. But it's just how you react, or the way this never give up attitude that you put to it will actually get you through it. But that's the situation, or that's the thing most people lack. They give up too easily. Truly, the situation differs. What I might be involved in, what you might be involved in differs. And the gravity of every action actually differs. You can imagine someone putting everything he has, resources, everything into a particular project, and just losing out at the end of the day. The thought of where do I start from, what can happen and stuff like that, it can actually drag the person into making some really, really bad decisions, even going to the extent of committing suicide and all, but like I said earlier, it's just about them finding something to believe in, something to lean on, something that brings that hope back. It's just that of building hope in people. That's actually what can actually eradicate hopelessness. People whenever they pass a situation, they just feel down. They feel, what else can happen? What else now? What can I do? And just give up. So we need to help them to build that not giving up attitude. Helping them to see hope in the future. Not everything actually goes the way you plan it to be. Disappointment is real. Even life is full of more disappointment than success. So it's just about helping people to learn to understand that. And by that they can actually live more lives and even fulfill more things. But if just cutting their life short, after a particular thing, or not taking any action again, thinking it will result in the same way, that is actually that's the devastating thing, because they won't actually get to where they're going, or they won't get what they want from it, and it will just be a waste from the start. So I feel it's just creating hope is actually what can helping them to see that life brings more disappointment than joy or success to people who live in it. There's this slang we say here in Nigeria. We say life is not fair. It's not fair to anyone. Even people who are at the top, people who are rich, who are there, who are doing good, there has been a particular time or situation they have passed through whereby they were almost giving up, but it's just that hope for a better life that just keeps them going. So I feel that's what needs to be established in these people's mind.
Thanks,
and
Vinod.
that's
Thanks
how
a
we
lot.
can help defeat hopelessness. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Vinay. Thank you.
Hi, sorry, I lost my connection.
Okay, no
So
worries. Yeah, so Paula, I was
I
asking.
wanted to add.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I wanted to add that sometimes one thing that can give hopelessness is that like depression can go away and then a few months later can come back. So I think this can be very stressful and can make the person feel like she is failing again. So I think this is one thing.
Right. And as rightfully mentioned by Vinay as well, and everyone again, you have to give yourself the room of failing, the room to not making up to your expectations and not winning all the time. It's not fair, and all you have to do is buckle up. This is life, and this is going to take you for a long ride. And please enjoy the ride while you're still riding it, and never do certain things that can not only make you upset, but others, the loved ones that you have around you, them upset as well. And on that note, I think this has been a wonderful event, but I'm not concluding it yet before I can have certain acknowledgements by the other members who have joined. So I wanted to ask Angelina. Hi, Angelina. Hello. You're from the beginning of this event. So how was the event so far? What did you? How was it? Alright, I don't think she is able to. Okay. Hello, Aishwarya. Am I audible?
Hi, good afternoon. Hi.
Oh, okay. Mariam is here. Yeah, Mariam. Mariam or Aishwarya? One second, Mariam. I'll come back to you. Yes, Aishwarya. Please unmute yourself. So, how was the session so far? How was the event?
It's been very educational for me, and I've learned a lot about all these matters from everybody. And I soon want to be a future psychologist, but I don't have much to say because I might not be in the right place to say it. So, but I've definitely gained a lot of knowledge in these 2 hours, and I definitely do want to help people because this world needs a lot of people who needs help, and everybody has to be nice and empathetic. And I feel there is a lacking of humans who are kind. So I feel the more helpful people, I think the world would be a better place. I believe that.
Right.
So yes, be kind to everybody.
Right.
That's all I've got to say for now. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Aishwarya, for letting us know that. And of course, we all need human beings. Superhumans. This world needs superhumans, and each one of you who are present in the meeting right now, they're all contributing. They're all filling up the form to be the next superhero. Please be your own superheroes. Please be the superhero for your friends, for your family, for your loved ones. And I think if we collectively take care of our loved ones, I think the world will be a better place. Thanks, Aishwarya, for sharing that. So that comes, that is where we come to the end of a session. But before leaving, there's a small aspect there's a small technique or something that Megha wanted to share with all of you. So Megha, if you're up for it, you can please let everyone do the task or activity that you wanted to. Because I'm honestly, I don't have any clue what she's about to. It's quite a surprise, but it's a very entertaining activity. I don't know, but yeah, I'm sure that is. So yes, Megha, take the floor.
So are you talking about the mindfulness technique or the handwriting analysis?
Shall we go with the mindfulness technique or the handwriting? Which one do you think is the best one? Because we are running out of time.
We'll ask everybody. Handwriting thing will take time. We can do it sometime
All right.
later.
Okay.
We'll do the mindfulness thing.
All right. So before we end, we have one small activity. Just like we started the event, we started with a small activity. We'll be ending the same with an nice, happy activity. I'm sure you all love it. Yes, Mega, take care of that, please.
So we can all sit in comfortable position. It's not like we are meditating or anything. We just have to close our eyes.
Okay.
I
And
should you play that music.
the same music.
Or it's
Yeah.
okay. We'll do it without the music this time. Let's see how it goes.
All right. Sure. Then, sure. Cool.
Sure.
All right.
You could put your cameras on, please. Ayushi, Mariam, Aishwarya, Vinay, Hamza, Paula. Thank you, Darshini. Thank you, Aishwarya. And thank you those who are already there on your cameras. So we'll all sit. Thank you, Shreya.
And do one thing, Mega. Once the technique is done, I just want everyone to take a small screenshot of their respective desktops and send it to you, or send it somewhere. I don't know. Suggest them or instruct them so that we can have a small snapshot of this. Okay.
I'll put my number in the chat box so people can share it there.
Okay. Perfect.
Or on our email ID, the PRJ.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So please. Yeah. Please share the email ID. We'll be sharing a small email ID here. In the chat box, and what you can do is once the activity is done, you can all take a small screenshot, and that would be helpful for us to spread further outreach and awareness. All right. So Megha, take care of this. I'll just be back.
I shared the email ID, and I'm very sorry for the background music.
Okay. We'll do one thing. Just we'll start the music. I think the music was really good, so let's have the music and we'll do it. Okay. All right then. I'm sharing it. You give the you give the initial things. Explain them what since many have joined again for the first time.
So you all just have to sit quietly and focus on your internal working. That is how you are breathing, where the breath is going inside of you, and like while inhaling as well as while exhaling, how the entire functioning is taking place. So once you are doing that, you have to be mindful of the thoughts that are coming in your mind. But do not think more about that particular thing. Just acknowledge it that yes, it is there, and slightly let it slide. And then when another thought comes in, slightly let that slide too, and bring your focus back to the breathing. So this is how we'll do another breathing exercise. So this is more of a mindfulness-based therapy that's there, which we can work on.
All right. All right. Perfect. So I'll share the music, guys. Everyone, please close your eyes, listen to the music, and have a good time. Yeah.
Slowly inhale. Slowly exhale.
right. Stop sharing. Thanks everyone. On that note, that's the end of the session, the event, and it was really wonderful. It's really wonderful talking to everyone and each one of you here. Special thanks to Manushi for sharing her story. Thanks a lot. It takes guts to share stories, and I'm sure, Manushi, that what you have shared that will definitely help us all or others who listen to us in order to get themselves right and take the right decisions and take the right path. They can always be open to different kind of professionals. We have mental health professionals. Thanks for sharing that, and I'm sure people will get inspired by your story, and others as well. Thanks for sharing your opinions, your insights. All the psychologists, Priti, Ayushi, sorry, not Ayushi, she's not a psychologist yet, but we'll take it from here. But yes, all the psychologists, Farida especially, thanks for sharing your insights, being a mother, and how exactly you talk to or get along with your daughter, and how do you understand her even better. Thanks a lot. Thanks for everyone who have spoke, who haven't as well, because it means a lot to have audience as well. And thanks, Daniel, for sharing your friend's story to us. And we just hope that their family is strong now. I just hope good things happen to them. And we'll be doing many great things like this. We'll make sure we spread the awareness as much as possible. Thanks, everyone. And before we leave, you can all take a screenshot of your respective desktops and share it on your social media platforms as well. And use the hashtag defeating hopelessness. That's the hashtag that we were working for. That's the name of the event. So do that, and once done, let us know, and then we can leave the session, and we can all again be excited to have a new session, a new event that we'll be doing soon. All right.
Say cheese. Okay, come on. Wait. Okay, I lost it. Wait. Okay.
Everyone, please turn on your cameras as much as possible. And I'm really very shy with this, so I'd be turning off my camera. I'm extremely shy. I might look like an extrovert. I'm a very introvert person. So please do it. I'd be. All right.
Come on. No, you want to be on stories. You're dying for it.
No. My God, I'm extremely shy. I don't know how you think of it. Okay, do it, everyone, quick. I'm extremely shy. I don't know
Please
why.
mail the screenshots on the email ID that I've mentioned in the chat box.
Yeah, so you all can actually share it on your respective platforms. Tag Project C Foundation and use the hashtag for defeating hopelessness, and I think that will work wonders. All right, okay, just do it. Don't tell me that you're doing it. Just do it. I'm extremely shy. I don't know why. Yeah.
Dave,
you splendid pictures.
You want to? You're desperate to get everyone's story.
Oh my God. No, I'm not. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Are we done? Cool.
Yes. I've taken pictures and shared it with you.
Yes. Habib, you wanted to say something?
No, I have nothing much to say. I have nothing to say.
Did
thank you for the wonderful session.
All right. Did you enjoy the session?
Yes, it's really helpful.
Right. Well then, great guys. Take care. Bye, and please spread love. Please spread love around you, around the people you love. Make sure they are healthy. Please have a check on them as well. Regular check. Talk to them, understand, and don't just talk for talking's sake, but try to understand them as well. And thanks a lot. Bye, guys. Hopefully, in the next meeting, we'll again meet.